Hi guys, Hugh here. I wanted to talk you through this attacking set from the Ospreys against Edinburgh. I think it gives a really great insight into what they're trying to do in phase play. The thing I want you to pay attention to is the number of passes by forwards in this attack. So we're already a couple of phases in, and immediately you can see that it's Adam Beard acting as first receiver with Owen Williams standing off him. At the next breakdown you can see that once again it's a forward at first receiver, this time tight head prop Ben Warren. From here the Ospreys are about to spin it wide. Let's count the passes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's in the hand of another front rower in Dewey Lake, who spins a fifth wide pass out to Keelan Giles on the wing. In the time that the Ospreys have spent passing the ball, the Edinburgh defence has drifted and Giles is running up against 3 defenders. From here the Ospreys change tactic and it's Owen Williams filling the traditional fly half role as first receiver. He gets the ball to second row Will Greatbanks in midfield, but it's a poor carry, and from here the Ospreys do everything behind the gain line. Owen Williams takes a few steps forward but doesn't engage any defenders here, and Kieran Williams is smashed behind the gain line, losing another 5 yards. Ben Warren once again comes in at first receiver, but he's lucky not to get turned over as he finds himself isolated from his support. This time, Owen Williams sends the ball out the back of the boot to Owen Watkin, whose main role in the Ospreys is also as a distributor. If we stop it here, we can see that the Ospreys have doubled up with forwards on the wing, with Morgan Morris taking it into contact and Jack Morgan stood on the touchline. Jack Morgan is arguably the Ospreys' most explosive carrier, but rather than use him, they send the ball back into midfield. The following phase does look like a continuation of the lost momentum as Tipperick, the lightest of the Ospreys forwards, runs into 2 defenders. However, the Ospreys do manufacture a line break from here. This time it is fullback Jack Walsh who is acting as the second playmaker in the boot. His delayed pass puts prop Gareth Thomas into a half space and he's able to produce a lovely offload to Kieran Williams, who runs through. But once again the high volume of passes has allowed the Edinburgh defence to get across and Kieran Williams is tackled. Reuben Morgan Williams has overrun it, the offload is forced and he collides with Jack Walsh. The chance is gone and the possession is turned over. So what have we learned from this clip? We know that the Ospreys forwards pass the ball more than any other team in the URC, and from this attack it's easy to see why. Clearly their structure puts a lot of emphasis on the handling and the distribution skills of the forward pack, and I have to say that I'm very impressed by it. Traditionally, the high level of ball handling skills from forwards is what used to set the All Blacks apart. Something it helps in particular is the ability to capitalise on transitions, an area which provided a lot of tries for the Ospreys last season. I thought Dewey Lake's pass to the wing for Keelan Giles was very good, and we know that Adam Beard is a great passer of the ball. In this clip, Dan Bigger explains how forwards passing the ball more can help unlock defences.
Another really interesting stat post-Rugby World Cup 2023 is the amount of times the forwards, in particular the front 5, are passing. Forwards are passing twice as much as they have done in each match post-Rugby World Cup 2023. Or they're not just one-up runners round the corner going hard off 9. What that does is keep the defensive line guessing. But the question for me then becomes, are the Ospreys using the right tools for the right jobs? The Ospreys' metres per carry is one of the lowest in the URC, and their metres gained per phase of possession is also amongst the lowest in the league. You could argue that the Ospreys' 2 best carriers are Jack Morgan and Dewey Lake, neither of whom take contact during this attack. If we look at Opta's website, we can see that the Ospreys have the lowest gainline success of any team in Europe. This is very surprising given the undoubted quality ball carriers they have in their team. In the game against Zebra, we saw more examples of Ospreys players being used in roles that aren't suited to them. If we look at the stats for that game, we can see the majority of the Ospreys backs get double figures worth of carries, but if we look at the metres they're making off those carries, they're relatively low, much less than you would expect. This shows how little space they're being asked to work with. Owen Williams, Owen Watkin and Jack Walsh are all being used as distributors, not as running threats. And all this is contributing to the Ospreys' attacking stats being ranked in the bottom 5 in the league across the board. One of the key sources of Ospreys' tries last season was scoring off transitions, but we can see that they are now the lowest team for scoring off turnovers in Europe. And then there's the passes. Yes, the Ospreys pass the ball a lot, but if you look at their team movement, they move wide the least of anybody in the URC. In fact, the Ospreys move wide the least of anyone in Europe, and the utilisation of long passes is also the lowest in Europe. So what that tells me is they're taking a lot of passes to not move the ball very far. Once you throw in the fact that the Ospreys have got the slowest rug speed in the URC, what that means is that defences are just getting time to set and organise in front of them, and that's why in this attack you see Ospreys players running against 2 or 3 defenders on their own multiple times. Furthermore, testing the limits of forwards' ball playing skills is making mistakes more likely. Perhaps it's unsurprising then that nearly 3/4 of the Ospreys' tries this season have come from set piece, the most of anyone in the URC and the second most in Europe. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please consider giving the channel a subscribe and liking the video. Share it with a friend and we hope to see you again soon. Cheers.